Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. You ready for some playoff football?
Sunday, fun day, better than a Monday. Can only do it one way, and that is the drunk way. Sunday, fun day.
Bloody Mary and a triple whiskey neat. For the love of God, hurry.
So, I have this bad tendency of picking teams and them crashing and burning. That happens sometimes. So, I'd probably be better off well spent rooting against my favorite team so they might win. But we have a nice coinkydink this weekend. The two teams that last played my team and knocked them out of essentially a home playoff game in the playoffs play each other. I mean, does it get much better than that? On top of that, I'm going to have a Patreon drawing today. There's three options for Patreon if you win on there, which pour you would like. We also have two other winners today from the regular videos, one from a short, one from a longer format as a happy birthday to the channel. Appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you so much. Patreons, you'll get to, if you're a winner, you'll get to pick a 2-ounce pour from one of these bottles, the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend, the Middle West Spirits Ported Pumpernickel Rye, or this 13th Colony. This is a cask strength bourbon at 130 plus proof. So you'll get to pick one of those. I'm going to put this down because I got to make some room. But we also have the winners for today from the short format and from the longer format of the happy birthday videos. I've got those written down here. I'll go over those a little bit later, but congratulations to two people that won pours on that. Absolutely love that. So I'll get these out of the way a little bit. A lot to unpack today. Very, very cool. Man, let me see what I want to do here. Oh, Carlos from Whiskey Wisdom, thank you. This is the Nulu Toasted Apple Brandy Finish. And this is from ADHD Matt Madness. This is his pick. Looking forward to trying this. So I'm going to pour this thing as we unpack a lot of stuff that we got this weekend. Yesterday was such an awesome event for me. There was the bourbon drop in Auburn, which there was nothing there that just screamed, I need to have you. Because these were bottles that I already had, and you get to a point where you think, if I go there, I'm just kind of being selfish at this point. Let somebody else maybe get something. But I had an opportunity that was just a super, super unique opportunity. Had a gentleman that we had met actually at the store locally during a bourbon drop, and we talked for a little bit, and he was so generous and kind and reached out and said, "Hey, would you be interested and getting on the Class 6 at Fort Moore?" Another member of this channel, Derek, had talked about how awesome they do out there. They have a bourbon club. Tim and the group out there at the Class 6 on Fort Moore, formerly Fort Benning, do an amazing job. And so when Chris offered that, I said I would love to do that. And we couldn't do it last week. We both had stuff on our schedule. But we said, let's get together this weekend. Happened to be the bourbon drop, but there was nothing there that was like I needed to really add to a collection. It would just be taken away from somebody else. So I said, yeah, let's do that. And so we got together, and I'm telling you, that is one of the neatest experiences that I've had while doing this, is that you meet people and they are so generous with their time, willing to share bourbons, willing to have a nice time. And I mean, it's like you're hanging out with an old friend every time. And I absolutely enjoy it. So Chris met up with him yesterday morning. He drove me on out to Fort Moore. We talked a little bit about bourbon on the way. He's a huge Wild Turkey fan. And so we just talked a little bit about that, a little bit about life. And then he introduced me, to some amazing other people. It's like good people showing you more good people. And it was fantastic. Got to meet Tim, and I didn't get to meet all of his team out there, but it's one of those things where they have Tim, you could tell, is a dynamic leader too, because his team is happy. They're working hard while they're out there. And this is just by observation. Very proud of his store, which I love. I love when people take pride in their stuff. He was showing me around. This is how he sets it up. And I was just like, man, this is someone that takes pride in what they do. They seem like they'd be a lot of fun to work with. Not in that you're gonna goof off, but he's gonna make sure things get done. But his team looked like that they were on board with it too. They were happy, they were friendly, and it was awesome. I didn't take any pictures or videos in there. You don't want to overstep bounds on things and stuff like that. But I did get some awesome bottles, which I'll show in a little bit. But it was just so refreshing and very very cool. Oh, Carlos, this is very nice. And I'm a big fan of Nulu too. And we actually had a discussion, Chris and I did yesterday about Nulu too, about how good their stuff was up front, and is it some of that maybe diminishing a little bit? That's a fantastic pour. Drinks under proof. You're definitely getting some of that apple brandy coming through on it. Super smooth. Get a little bit of some of the spices on the back. But I'm absolutely loving the sweet oak on this, the apple brandy influence on this. Carlos, an amazing pour. Eric, using one of your Sazerac House mini Glens here. Absolutely loving that. That's kind of like drinking a caramel apple, like a not a super tart, crisp green apple, but a green apple, but a caramel green apple. Absolutely, absolutely insane. Thank you, Carlos. I got to get back to where I was. So, you know, Chris and Tim really spent a lot of time with me yesterday, and that is something that really, really means a lot. I've mentioned on the channel before, time is something you can't buy, you can't get more of, you don't know how much of you have, but when someone invests that time in you, it to me it really, really means a lot because it's a currency that fluctuates and you don't know how much you ever have. But for them to take the time with me yesterday meant a lot. Showed me their store, showed me their store picks, and I've got to go back and I've got to spend a lot more money there, which is, I have to budget it out a little bit. But they had so many neat, unique things there, and so many neat store picks. And I mean, for a class six, they are doing a bang up job out there. So I'll share some of the bottles that I got in a little bit. But like I said, I can't say enough nice things about yesterday. And Chris, he's retired military. I don't go too far into people's stuff because I don't want to get too personal unless they say, yeah, you can share that. But he's retired military, lives in the area, um, was willing to share with me what his personal bar looks like, his man cave. It was phenomenal. Um, he just does really cool stuff with redoing and refurbishing barrels into different things so you can store your liquor, make liquor cabinets and stuff. And you could tell everything that he has done up there. He takes a lot of pride in it because he has done an amazing job up there. But had some amazing pours up there. I mean, a lot of amazing pours up there. Big Wild Turkey fan. We talked about how, the Wild Turkeys, Voyagers, and stuff like that. Those are his B tags, and he has got a beautiful lineup and setup up there. But was so thankful for that, and then shared some pours with me. He was, it's one of those people that you always. That's what I like to do, and he was like right on target, but like 1,000 times probably better. He's like, you see something you want, try it, and I'm like, and I'm like dumbfounded because there's so many great things up there. But had some amazing pours yesterday. We're gonna get back together again and go through some more stuff. But I was so very appreciative of that. We talked about the change from Fort Benning to Fort Moore, the naming commissions and all that stuff. But we talked about how appropriate that it was that Hal Moore and his wife Julie were how the Fort Moore was named. They if you've never seen the movie, it's a very good movie. It's got Mel Gibson in it. It talks about Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore at the time, where he's in Vietnam and his commitment to the soldiers, but not just his commitment, but the amazing commitment that his wife made to the soldiers' families on how she was going to make sure that she was taking care of the families. it had gone. And Chris is such a nice guy. He was explaining the whole how it changed the situations we were talking about a little bit on the ride. And he was talking about, instead of just getting a telegram basically saying that you've lost a loved one, that there was more of a family involvement, that there was a tighter knit group, that you weren't alone, that you had support and things like that. And that came from Julie Moore. So very interesting story and very well thought out the way that they changed the name there. It takes a lot of people a lot of time, including myself. I've been in the area for 30 plus years. I was used to Fort Benning. It's just like, if you called red all your life and all of a sudden they say, red is now special deep orange or something, but there's a good meaning behind it. So it takes some time. But Fort Moore, because I like the history behind why it was named, it makes it so much easier for me to say, yes, this is a nice thing. But after all that stuff, but let me get to a couple other things. So, as we get into playoff season, I'm probably not destroying the Bills season. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl. That's not the kiss of death there. But let me talk about something else. I'm going to take my mic off for a second. It's probably more than you ever wanted to see. So let's see how far the kiss of death extends. So one of these two teams is going to win the Super Bowl, either the Bills or the Chiefs. I'm not saying that because I picked them, they're probably going to lose horrifically and crash and burn, but potentially. But let me get into the bottles that I was able to pick up yesterday. And like I said, I was so appreciative of Chris and Tim for spending the time with me. Derek, he's talked up this Class 6. And I was invited to a new bourbon club, which I'm excited about. So I'm in that too. So looking forward to that. And I didn't even get some of the heavy hitters that I wanted to get yesterday because I picked up so many other things. I'm like, golly, I got to budget myself and slow myself, which I'm not very good at. So let's get into the bottles. First bottle, this was kind of a tater bottle for me, just because I'm trying to find my wife a bourbon that she would like. And Chris even mentioned that this is one that his wife would drink. This is a Starlight blackberry flavored whiskey. It's only 84 proof, so it's not heavily proof. But he had given me a suggestion on how his wife might drink it. I'm going to try it for my wife. And I'm going to see if I can find a backdoor way to get her into maybe some flavored bourbons or whiskeys. So, well, not flavored bourbon, but a flavored whiskey. So maybe she would be able to enjoy a pour with me now and then. So this Starlight, I'm a big Starlight fan. Enjoy their products. He had some real neat stories. That was the coolest part that we talked about is bourbon isn't just you collect something you drink. Bourbon's about making memories. I mean, it is absolutely about making memories. When he was pointing out bottles and he was talking about stories behind them, it truly showed you that it's kind of the glue that connects the important memories, the important times in your life and different events and thankful things that you have or something you were able to give to someone. And so, when I get these different bottles and stuff, I like to get them out to people and share them and do stuff. And I got him some samples yesterday, probably not even close to some of the stuff that I tasted at his house, but it builds memories. And it showed that when he was talking about certain things, I'm that way too. I'm like, that bottle right there, that sample I got from such and such, Dave or Terrence or, Matt at Whiskey Wisdom or whatever. I got some of those moments. Carlos right now, I wouldn't have had this without Carlos. Thank you, Carlos. But it's about building memories. It's not about necessarily getting it and just drinking it and drinking it and drinking it. It's about sharing time and memories and stuff. So, this is an opportunity to share. So hoping I'll get to share some of this with my wife. Absolutely looking forward to this. Blessing there, absolute blessing there. One I can never pass up. Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Single Barrel, amazing price. It was like $58. It had a $5 off on it. It was like $58. And these are some of my absolute favorite bottles. And when I find one that it's like, I don't have that proof, I've never had that expression, they're single barrels, I'm going to get that one. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to push these up a little bit. These are for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. That's coming quick. And we also have the 1792 coming up. So I'm just going to push these up just a little bit to kind of slide these over because I did buy quite a few bottles yesterday. But, some people are better than me at this. Now you're like, okay, Sean, 13th Colony. It's a bourbon. I know that you have it in your area. I don't know why you're showing me this bottle. Well, it's because it's signed by Graham Arthur. And so, Graham did a thing out there on the post that they had some bottles of the 13th Colony Double Oaked, that were exclusively on the post. Graham Arthur went out there, signed a bunch of bottles, and it was phenomenal. They got their bottles basically before everyone, which I think is fantastic, for that military community to have that opportunity. But there was, when I was going through, Tim was pointing out, he says, yeah, we got these, and there's some ones still signed from Graham. I'm like, I'm grabbing that for myself because I'm a tater. So I've got a bunch of his signed bottles, but I don't have the traditional Southern bourbon. And I'm like, tater factor, it went to 1,000 real quick, and I had to pick it up. So I was excited about that. That is just so good, Carlos. Getting a little bit of spice now on the back to it too. Man, it's almost like a spiced green caramel apple thing going on there. Next bottle was one I have never seen in the open. And Chris pointed this out to me. Now, this is a Blue Note juke joint, but this is Mixtape 5, and it's coming in at 120.5 proof. Never had one of the mixtapes, so I'm like, this was their last bottle there. And I'm like, I got to get this juke joint, or the Blue Note juke joint stuff has been killing it for me lately. The 7th anniversary one they did out at the bottle shop, and I picked up another one the other day, and now this one. So Blue Note's really making it up on the charts for me, and I just continue to hope that they keep their product consistent. And that's the one thing that's tough, is you get these demands on these distilleries, especially smaller distilleries, and they have to compromise themselves. And it's because it takes time. We talked about time earlier, but time in a different way here. You can't age something instantly. You can't microwave bourbon. So it takes that time to sit in those barrels. So what happens when you get a demand for that? It's, do you start cutting down on the time to get something out to the customer, but maybe now it's not at that in original flavor notes or the original type of standard you have. So that's tough with the smaller distilleries. I'm hoping Blue Note can keep through and work through on this. Definitely looking forward to seeing what they're going to have in the future, because they have been on fire for me lately. Last bottle, something I don't see a whole lot. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, single barrel. It's 101 proof. It was sitting there on the shelf, and like I said, the amazing part about buying something at the Class 6, if you have that opportunity, is the pricing's going to be great, and there's no taxes. So I'm looking forward to cracking some of these. I got so many to test, but I'm looking forward to cracking some of these. And like this one right here, it's just going to sit in my tater factor for a while. It'll be set up somewhere, and I'm looking forward to that. But they have some other bottles there that I'm going definitely back for. And like I said, the experience with Chris and Tim yesterday was amazing. Thank you guys to you both. Absolutely enjoyed that. It's Sunday, we're going to watch some football. We're going to go to a wedding today earlier, and then get home and just kind of relax for the evening. If you happen to be working today, I hope your work day goes by fast, and I hope you're successful. If you're off today, I hope your off time goes by slow. I hope you spend it with family and friends, or maybe even just have some quiet time to yourself to unwind and reflect a little bit. And that's the one thing that I've been trying to do a little bit more lately over the last couple of years, is take some time just to reflect on things, where I'm at in life, and where I want to go and what I want to do, and how can I help other people on the journey. But most importantly, cheers and God bless. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Thank you for all you do. Oh, almost forgot something. We had a couple of winners. Man. So, Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend, Robert Welch 9401. Reach out to me, echoesineternitybourbon@gmail.com. We'll figure it out. The logistics, the most important thing, 21 continental US, subscriber of the channel. Next one, Timothy Allen 9495. You are the winner of the Pumpernickel, the Middle West Ported Pumpernickel Rye. Same thing. Reach out to me at echoesineternitybourbon@gmail.com. I'll put those videos at the end. Absolutely looking forward to hearing from you both. Congratulations on the 4 wins. Patreons, I got something coming out for you today. There was 3 pours that were coming out today for you as an option. One of those being the 13th Colony single barrel bourbon coming in 130 plus proof, plus the 2 bottles that were just forementioned. But cheers and God bless. Y'all have an amazing day.